Well. Good evening or late evening, John.
Hello, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right.
A little bit tired,
A little bit tired.
but we will get through it.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
Shalini's in the chat. Good evening, Shalini. Usually you're tuckered up in bed by now, so it's wonderful to see you. How are you?
Oh,
Yeah, that's good, isn't it, John?
that's lovely.
It is lovely. Good evening, Rebecca. I see you there as well. Good evening, Lisa. I also see you. Wow, it's wonderful to see people at this time of night. Anyway, John. Good evening, Spencer. Wow. I'm quite impressed. John, introduce the show.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome to this episode 114.
114.
Chasing Dissent Live. Here to educate you, to entertain you, to rip the piss out of you on occasion.
And we're doing it late. Why are we doing it late, John?
I haven't fucking finished my spiel.
Finish your spiel.
Oh, forget it. Just you fucking carry on.
Hold on. From me, the man formerly in the van, now honkering in the bunker. You do it better.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Just say what you were going to say.
I can't remember what I was going to say now. You've thrown me off.
You were getting on about running late.
Yeah, well, why are we running late, John?
I don't know. Why are we running? An experiment of some kind?
It's an experiment of some kind. Yes, it is. But we won't tell them what the experiment is. We'll leave them hanging in the balance, shall we?
Hey, absolutely. We'll tell them in the after party.
Yes. So, if you can see in the chat right now, there is a link to our Patreon, patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. And if you do support us over on those platforms, then you will be able to join us immediately after the show in the after party. Here's how it works. I will put a Patreon-only post up on the Patreon page during the end credits. And then we will see you there. You come straight into the show, you talk to us. It's all good. Shalini says she won't be on long because she's back to work tomorrow after her holidays. Well, fair enough. And speaking of Shalini, John, I was with her on Saturday.
Yeah, well, one of the better questions, and this you can probably answer this as part of this, is have you been in the sun today or have you been sitting next to a nuclear reactor?
Well, it's neither, John. I was in the sun on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but no. And Spencer, who's asked that question, was with me when I was in the sun, as was Shalini and her partner Vaughan, and we went to Eastbourne International Air Show, the airborne. We saw the Red Arrows, we saw the RAF Typhoon, and a whole other bunch of planes and stuff. And actually, if you head over to Liberté Media, our second channel, youtube.com/Liberté Media, you can see a little 9-10 minute vlog of us having a laugh at the air show and enjoying some normality and just messing about, watching some planes and having some fun. If that's something that interests you, it's there. You can come and see it. Have you seen it, John?
No.
Jesus Christ, and you part own the channel.
Yeah, but you said if it's something that interests you, you can go and see it.
Well, Shalini says it was pretty cool, so I'm with her on that one. It was a good day. It was a load of fun. And we actually got to do.
Well, actually, I disagree. I think it was pretty hot, judging by the state of your skin.
Yes, it was. I roasted like a fucking vampire, John. I was sitting out there, and then I knew it was going to be bad when my knees started hurting. It was my knees.
Yeah, you should try being up here. I think I'm developing webs.
Is that okay? It's a Scottish climate.
Scottish climate.
Yeah, but you've stopped using your fan. Your fan is your main fan is off tonight, isn't it, John?
Yeah, because it's starting to get cooler.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Anyway, what have you been up to
today?
Well, since we've last seen you, John.
Making videos, doing research, making videos, doing research.
We had a bit of a we had a bit of a viral sensation for a bit, didn't we, with shorts, and then that just sort of went away.
Yeah, it's gone away, and yet the one that I thought that really would go viral today's one with the young lady and the tight leggings just has gone nowhere.
I think we need to put up a short on the other channel about Disney brothels, and if you don't watch our other show, we'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we should.
Anyway, John.
Ben.
Do we have a list?
Ben. Of course we have a list.
Roll
But before you get to the list, you've changed the title.
I have. And
Breaking
the thumbnail.
news.
Breaking
And
news.
It's fucking all about Tony. It's the Tony hour.
It's the Tony Fauci. Well, Paul, you're right. I've resigned. He's out. Tony's out.
So Tony's leaving at December. He's leaving the administration.
So he's resigning as the. He's
leaving after Joe then, because Biden left his own administration round about last February, didn't he?
Well, Biden left his own administration before he even entered it, right? Joe Biden has not entered the room yet.
Yeah, he wandered off into the undergrowth, didn't he? And he's never been seen since. So it's just a body double we've had.
Well, they just give him. So he's wandered off into the recesses of his own mind, John. Right? So they just give him ice cream, hoping he'll lick his way out.
Yeah.
And whilst we take the miss,
fact checkers say there was not an ice cream van behind Jill on that stage. What a fucking ridiculous fact check that one.
Oh, good old fact checkers. But yes, Anthony Fauci is resigning as the director of the NIH, National Institute of Health, and as an advisor to the White House, an advisor to the Biden administration. And the first thing Rand Paul tweeted was, it doesn't get him off the hook. He's still coming to Congress. He is still testifying, and he is going to tell us what he knows. And absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Absolutely.
These people don't just get to resign their way out of this.
No. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. But most of them have, and will.
That's very, very true. Should I roll VT, John?
Roll VT, Ben.
And now I've got to find the VT to roll. There. That was the same list video you watch every week.
With the same music. Because I'm lazy. I'm not really lazy, I just don't have the time.
Well, we don't need to give him anything else. And look, I am starting to turn into Vecna up here, aren't I?
Yeah, I was thinking more like
one,
two, out The Walking Dead.
Freddy's coming for you.
You don't look as good as Freddy. Anyway, shall we begin?
I think we should, sir.
Well, I've got a name. Well, again, sometimes the list just has a list of names, but so today's list starts with Neil Oliver.
Okay, what's Neil done today?
Oh, no, Neil's just being Neil, and he's saying his things from the hip like he tends to, and he's speaking truths, and people are taking cognizance of it, even though his channel has now been bought out by a multitude of variety, or should I say, has been bought out by a variety of dubious vendors.
Right.
Don't you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, Warner Brothers Discovery had, I believe, the controlling stake in GB News. They gave over £60 million of seed funding to set it up. And obviously when that merger has occurred, they've taken a look at their assets and they've gone, yeah, probably don't want that.
Yeah. So that other company's bought it, which was half funded by George Soros.
Fantastic. Well, we can expect to see a change in direction over on GB News sometime soon then.
Well, I think we're already starting to see it, aren't we, with the mainstream lovies that are coming in. Yeah, I think this. Well, yeah, I mean, it's to be fair, the channel's never been not mainstream. It's just allowed a couple of dissenting voices.
Well, exactly. Mr. Jungle Griffin says in our chat here, I know this channel wouldn't sell out for 60 million.
You're fucking off your chump, mate, if you think we wouldn't. Everybody's got a price.
I think John's just told you his. I wouldn't sell out for 60 million, John.
That's okay, Ben. I'll just take 30. You can have my half.
And I'll tell you the reason I won't, John, and this works in my favour.
Why, Ben?
Autism, John. Right?
Oh, you know what? You can take your fucking autism. I'll take 30 million over it any day.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. But no, it's just a case of I go, well, here's 30 million quid, Ben, and I go, well, I'm still going to say what I want, and they go, well, then no, and I go, well, fine then.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't work well for others.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be working for anyone.
Well, exactly. Well, you take your 30 million and run, would you, John?
I'd be private jetting it, mate.
He's out of here. He's out of here.
Hello, Florida. Bring and blow.
Well, first of all, with a pit stop via Vegas for all the hookers?
I don't think hookers are exclusive to Vegas.
Yeah, I know, but they're legal there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Less likely to have a disease, John.
Yes, enough of this. These flights of fancy.
Yes.
So, next people on the list are Liz Cheney and Mitt Romney.
Oh, Lizzie, you came and you lost in Wyoming. And they sent you away.
And then she said she was going to run for president.
No, what got me was when she said that the fight to stop Donald Trump was just as important as taking on the Confederates.
Yeah, and then she said she was going to run for president.
She did, yeah.
And then Mitt Romney said, you won't get the GOP nomination.
She won't, no. And especially as we're seeing a restructuring of the GOP in the House and the Senate, heavily in favour of those endorsed by Donald J. Trump.
I think Trump's coming back.
He's definitely trying it, John. He's going to announce sooner rather than later at this point.
He will announce. It's just I can't see anyone stopping him unless they have another rigged election. And then if they do that, then really you might as well just start growing bananas over there.
So whilst we're on the subject of Trump, right? The judge today in the case regarding the raid on Mar-a-Lago has wholly rejected the DOJ's argument, the Department of Justice's argument, to keep the affidavit that this is all based upon sealed.
Right, so this is the part I don't understand, because originally it was Trump doesn't want the affidavit released and the DOJ wanted to release it.
No, it's always been.
Has it always been? Because I'm pretty sure I read something saying the DOJ were going to release the details of the affidavit and Trump's legal team were trying to stop them, right?
No, so Donald Trump has been fighting since this happened to have everything completely published and unsealed. Because basically the media turned around and said, oh, Donald Trump won't want all this coming out. So he doubled down on it and went, not only do I want it coming out, I dare you. Get it out there. And it looks like, barring some kind of appeal, this affidavit is going to be unsealed. And when it is, it looks like the FBI is going to get in a lot of trouble. That's just my opinion.
Stupid.
I think this raid is based upon nothing. And that's what the affidavit is going to say.
Yeah, so there you go.
And then they're going to be in very, very much legal hot water. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So moving on?
Moving on. So they're coming out with the nasal vaccine for
children,
targeting the flu.
Yeah, they do that anyway, don't they?
But one of the reasons, well, they do have a nasal spray, and one of the reasons is that it's much more efficient at delivering a vaccine to the body as it goes through the same parts that a respiratory virus would attack.
And you know what? I absolutely agree with that statement.
Therefore is the preferred method of delivering a vaccine for a respiratory virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just common sense, right?
Common sense, it's plausible, and I think it's backed up by the science.
Let's pray.
The actual science. Okay. But, it's the preferred method.
Well, yes, and do you know what? Once again, if people want to take these medications, they can take whatever medication they want. It's entirely up to them. It's their body, their choice. But just leave everybody who doesn't want to alone. That's my stance. People should be able to do whatever they want with their bodies.
So, in a completely non-related matter.
Yes.
Okay. Excess deaths in the UK are currently running at 1,000 above normal.
Yes, they are.
A week.
Yes, they are.
But it's not COOF related.
No, it's not.
So they're running at 1,000 a week above normal. So instead of 1,600 people dying every week, it's around 2,600.
What do you mean every day?
Sorry, that's every day. So there's an extra 1,000 a week.
Okay.
It's not 1,000 a day, it's 1,000 a week. So yes, sorry. So 1,600 people die every day.
So we're looking at around about 1,780 to 1,800 a day on average at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is well above average, and it's summer.
And it's not just the UK.
No, it's not. This is being repeated pretty much everywhere.
The US have published their figures, and they said they've got an excess this year of 344,000.
And it's not only that, a lot of these excess deaths are happening within the younger age brackets.
They all appear to be happening, all the excess deaths appear to be happening among the younger age brackets from, say, 60 down. Now,
I'm not going to outright speculate.
I don't think we can.
I don't.
Can we? How could we possibly speculate?
I don't know, John.
Doctors are baffled.
You know what it is!
Doctors are baffled.
Did I just think that out loud?
I don't know. I can't remember.
You know what it is!
I can't remember you saying anything.
I didn't say anything, John. I definitely did not say anything. But I'm baffled, John. I'm absolutely stumped. I don't know why this could be, and I find it odd that doctors don't seem to know, or at least aren't seem to be admitting anything.
Yeah.
And on that, we should move swiftly to our next story, John.
Dugan, or Dugina, who was blown up in her father's car after she switched cars coming out of the theatre.
Yes.
And the car blew up, killing her instantly. Unfortunate young lady, 30 years old, I believe.
Yeah,
a bit of an activist journalist, but no real enemies in Russia. So I think Russia are actually now saying that it was Ukrainian influence that did this.
Well, I mean, once again, this is not something that I could speculate on, but...
No, we're not speculating. We don't need to speculate on this because Russia are saying it was Ukraine.
So yeah, Russia. But can we believe what Russia says? Just like, can we believe what Ukraine says? The answer is no.
No, we don't need to believe either side. All we're doing is reporting what Russia's said.
Absolutely.
We know what's happened, and we know, that some people have got a beef against Russia. So, and Russia have obviously got. Well, I don't think, judging by everything that's been said about this individual and his daughter, he's a great friend of Putin. So I wouldn't understand why Russia would be targeting him.
Well, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And it looks like it was a case of almost mistaken identity. It seems to be the wrong person in the right vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And the intended target, who, as you said, is a great friend of Vladimir Putin, is now pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure blowing up the daughter of a close friend of Vladimir Putin's was a good move by anybody.
Yeah, it's probably not. Anyway,
there will be repercussions for this, is what I'm saying.
So if you have your mattress stuffed with 20s and 50s, of the paper variety, you better get them out of there and changed for plastic, because I think you've only got a week left.
Yeah, it's about a week to have them for shops to stop taking them, and then I believe you'll still be able to return them to banks for quite some time yet.
Okay.
But so, they will not be legal tender for purchase or sale coming soon.
Indeed. There you go.
So you have to be careful.
Sorry?
I said you have to be careful with the money you've got.
Yes. So one of the questions I'm struggling to understand is, why is UK electricity so high, the prices?
I can tell you exactly why it's so high, John.
Well, yeah, I mean when we look at Europe, then most of Europe, it's around 150 euros a kilo.
Put it this way, right now, if I had the ability to play hip-hop music, wear a pair of sunglasses, and do this with a load of cash...
Yeah.
That's why the prices are so high, John.
Yeah, it's nearly like 2.5 times higher in the UK than it is in Europe.
Yeah, and it's profiteering. It's 100% profiteering. Nothing more, nothing less. There's absolutely no reason for it, except perhaps the
climate change.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say maybe there's an argument for some inflation because of what's happened over the last 2.5 years, because the economies have absolutely been crushed, decimated, and the like, but not to this scale when it comes to power. And also, you have to remember, it's because the economy's been closed for the last 2.5 years, not because of Putin in Russia like they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, I know. Right, here's one for the notebook.
Ooh, the notebook.
Where we were right again.
Oh, really? Were we right again, John?
Oh, I distinctly remember banging on about Australia and New Zealand and saying it wouldn't make any difference in the long run. All you were doing was delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, we always said that, didn't we?
Yeah, and their death rate is exactly the same as the rest of the world now.
Yeah.
At around 300 people per million.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And
to put that in perspective, out of 1 million people, 300 died.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we were right again, mate. Right again.
Oh, I'm sick of being right, John.
Yeah, I know.
We should get a wall of plaques, and each time we're right, we just get it says "We was right."
Yeah.
Just put it
although up. I have to admit to one that's gone awry.
Oh.
I was wrong.
Oh, a correction, ladies and gentlemen, an admission.
It's not a correction. It's just taken longer than I thought it would.
Oh.
I thought, well, with Djokovic pulling out of the New York Open, right? Mm-hmm. I thought the things would have been down in 2 weeks to a month. Now, I said that about 3 weeks to a month ago, so I think I jumped the gun too much. So
I think that they're now just jumping the shark, aren't they?
They are ripping the piss out. It's ridiculous.
I wonder if they will ever release that mandate at this point.
And
I do wonder. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that there are places that are now saying within their own borders, just back to normal, folks. Everything back to normal. But if you're coming in from abroad, no, you don't. That doesn't mean you.
Yeah. Yes, Shalini, Djokovic is, he can't go. He's not allowed to go. He doesn't meet the entry criteria.
That's true.
That's true.
Exactly. He doesn't meet the entry criteria at the moment because despite the fact the CDC claimed to be reviewing the travel restrictions, on top of the government and the CDC saying everybody back to normal, folks, they don't appear to have made that revision as of yet.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
So, Mr. Jungle Griffin says we'll need a change of government as Australia changed it when their government changed.
Well, on that note, the midterms are coming up and somebody's going to be pulling an all-nighter, aren't you, Ben?
Am I?
I thought you were going to cover it for us.
We're pulling an all-nighter, John.
Yeah, okay.
I'm buying something for the midterms, aren't I, John?
What are you buying? An Uncle Sam hat?
No, you know what I'm buying.
Oh, I know what you're buying for the midterms.
You know what I'm buying for the midterms.
You're going to need it. I think I might need one as well.
I'm buying a device for the midterms, aren't I, John?
Yes, a medical appliance.
A medical appliance, absolutely. Something required, but in November...
Tell you all about it in the after party one night.
Yes, one night. I got a disclaimer, it may not be in this after party, but we will tell you about it during one of them. But yes, the midterms are in November, Shalini, and we will be streaming from about, I guess, 9-10 p.m. that night. And we will go right through until most of the results are announced. We hope to bring in a few people from the old United States to watch a bunch of British people talk about their politics and have a laugh. But and if anybody would like to crowdfund it, we would be happy to do it from within the United States.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that would be a much easier all-nighter for us.
Well, it wouldn't be well, yeah, it would. It would be easier. Right, moving on. TikTok.
TikTok.
So apparently the TikTok web browser records every keystroke that you make and sends it back to the CCP.
Why does that not shock or surprise me, John?
Well, I don't think it shocks anyone, really, if you've got half a brain.
We're quite popular on TikTok, John.
Yeah, we are. We've got nearly 7,000 subscribers on TikTok.
Yeah, in the space of 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We're quite popular over there.
Unlike here.
Yeah.
So the housing market in the UK looks like it's just about ready to crash.
Yeah, I've actually told friends recently who are looking to purchase, hold off.
Oh, don't buy a house just now.
Hold off, I'm saying to them. And two that are looking to rent as well. I said, hold off.
Well, renting's not so bad.
It will crash. Not as much.
It won't crash as much, but when banks start offering 50-year mortgages, right, you know the housing market is going to go down the tubes.
It's absolutely on its way, worse than 2008.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because what people don't seem to understand, and what I've been warning about since day one, is this is not going to be a recession. It's going to be a depression.
This is a depression, yeah.
It's far worse. We're being propped up right now by funny money. Everybody thinks that they're going to... Loads of people, too many people, think they're going to put all of their faith in cryptocurrencies to ride themselves through it. That's going to crash. The arse is going to fall out of that. We are all screwed, quite frankly. I don't mean to be pessimistic. I don't, but...
No, we're stating the facts.
I said this from day one. From day one, I said if you close an economy... even for 3 months, it was going to cause a recession, right?
Yeah.
2.5 years?
2.5 years, forget it.
And then people said to me, oh, you're a granny killer! Because
it's the end days. It's the end days. There'll be dogs and cats.
In the street, John!
In the street.
In the street. You're absolutely right. In the street. It just beggars belief how right we can be.
Well, we're not often wrong.
No, we're not. We're not often wrong. Shall we move on? Hello, Vaughan. Hello, Jesse.
Yes, let's move on. So, apparently everything that's going to the Ukraine, and when I say everything, I mean everything, weapons, food, humanitarian aid, billions of dollars is all getting nicked. Nobody knows where the hell it is.
Well, colour me shocked, colour me surprised. I mean, we'd need to fact check that, but...
Hold on a minute, though, but you're sending stuff to the most corrupt country in Europe, and you're surprised when it disappears. Remember, this is the country that's number 3 in the world for child trafficking and child porn.
Yeah.
They're number 3 in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but these are inconvenient truths, John. These are inconvenient truths. I mean, our dear Lord and Saviour Vladimir Zelensky, praise him. He's definitely not corrupt in any way, shape, or form, John.
No, he didn't. He didn't imprison all his rivals, did he?
Didn't ban his opposition.
He didn't put them in the jail. He didn't make being a member of the opposition party illegal. He didn't ban the opposition parties.
Didn't do any of that. There are no Nazis in Ukraine, John. None whatsoever.
No.
There are definitely not an entire battalion of them within the army.
And they didn't drag all those old tanks and things out of museums and stuff and scatter them all around Kiev.
No,
they didn't do that. The Russians left them behind when they left.
Yeah, they definitely didn't do any of this, right? The Ukrainians are perfect. Volodymyr Zelensky is perfect. And I'm not saying that the Russians are good in any way, shape, or form. In fact, those Russians.
Putin! Right, moving on. So, back to Canada. Let's briefly visit Ontario in Canada.
Ontario, eh?
And the number is now 17.
Right.
17 doctors.
Jesus, titty fucking Christ.
It keeps going up.
John.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put my head in my hands, press the button.
So
you know what it is!
So the Edinburgh Festival.
Oh, the Edinburgh Fringe.
The Edinburgh Fringe Festival was going to have a rendition by an American orchestra.
Yeah, but there's something more important about what the Edinburgh Fringe has done.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a minute. But this American orchestra has pulled out on the grounds that the choir that was going to support them have all refused to wear masks. Considering masks aren't actually mandatory in Scotland at the moment, why would anyone be wearing a mask?
And not only that, please enlighten me as to why a choir would wear mufflers.
Yeah, how can you sing with a mask on?
You're taking deep breaths.
That's always been an exemption in the UK.
It has. And I mean, I even took this to the nth degree, actually, when I walked around Tesco's going, "We're walking in the air."
But it has always been an exemption in the UK that you do not require to wear a mask, regardless of circumstance, as long as you're singing.
Yes, you are allowed to sing wherever you like.
I just think they were trying to recreate La La Land on the cheap.
So I'm just going to the chat here for a minute. Vaughan says, "Hey, I watched the moon landing show today. Very good."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our stuff is top quality.
Of course, our stuff is top quality. Do you know how much time we put into making it? You do.
Why does he seem surprised?
It beggars belief. We're working more than a full-time job here, and we're getting less than a day's wage a month.
It's like, I just don't know.
We're running 2 channels. We're running a TikTok. We're running Twitter. We're running Twitch. We're running YouTube, Facebook. We're running Gettr, Gab, all of this, Instagram.
So Scottish Power are going to build a hydrogen plant.
Let's go back to the Fringe.
Oh, well, okay, right, carry on.
Who have they banned, John?
Oh, they banned that guy, that comedian chap.
Yes, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival have banned an offensive comedian that's been nothing but an offensive comedian. Has always...
Was it Sadowitz?
Yes, it was Jerry
Yeah.
Sadowitz. So Jerry Sadowitz performed one show at the Fringe and then was banned from performing his second show. Despite the fact Jerry Sadowitz has been a mainstay at the Fringe for forever.
Well, and he's very much a mainstream comedian, really.
Yeah, and, you know, people are... Well, he's a character, for one. It's not the real person.
Put it
Right?
this way, you cannot be surprised at the content of his material.
He gets his dick out on stage most nights. You know, and the thing is, there are warnings up front saying that this is going to be offensive. There'll be full frontal male nudity, and the like, and people still upset and offended. But I guarantee you, during that first show that he did, the laughs were through the roof.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I guarantee you, they
bet
were.
Yeah.
And it's just getting to a point now where they're going to neuter comedy. And neutering comedy is going to destroy comedy. The destruction of comedy is well underway. And I mean, you're going to see cancellations of... I think we've already seen... Is Live at the Apollo even still a thing? Right?
I don't know.
Mock the Week's gone.
I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous. It really is.
Of course it is. It's insanity. It's just insanity. It's moral purity. And I've had enough of it.
Yep. So, as I was saying, Scottish Power are building a hydrogen plant in Felixstowe.
Okay.
Now, the newspaper article's a bit misleading because it says it's like 150 megawatt hydrogen plant, but you actually use electricity to make hydrogen. You don't make electricity from hydrogen.
Right.
So, what do they need all the hydrogen for?
They're making H-bombs, John.
No, you don't make H-bombs out of hydrogen.
What do they need it all for then, John?
I don't know. Are we suddenly going to have a suffer of hydrogen cars, perhaps? Because that actually might be, you know, fuel cell powered electric vehicles might be more suitable than battery powered electric vehicles.
That's a possibility, my friend. That's an absolute possibility. I mean, electric vehicles as they stand are pretty shite.
They're flawed. They're majorly flawed.
Majorly flawed indeed. So I can't answer you right now. Let's just keep an eye on it and see what they come up with, I guess. Let's move on.
So, you gotta give this guy credit. This Walter Mitty chap. So this builder lied his way into top NHS jobs. He was the CEO of 2 hospitals and a care home or something.
Okay.
He was on 6 figures a year, and he's been ordered to pay back £96,000. So actually, I think he might have done all right out of this.
I think he might have done, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
But
all power to him.
So he lied and told them he was a doctor, and nobody checked.
He did the work, though, didn't he, John?
Yeah. Well, that's it. He ran the place. I don't know if he ran it any worse. Did he do it any worse or any better than any of the other NHS leaders?
I was going to say, judging by the way that care homes have been run for the last 2.5 years, couldn't have done much worse.
Couldn't have.
Or the NHS in general.
Yeah. I'm actually going to leave the next couple of things out because they're just too depressing. So, Klaus has recruited an army to go to war on social media.
I'm going to tell people that they have to eat the bugs.
Yeah, no, but he's recruiting an army to fight against the misinformation.
What's misinformation, John?
Well, anything that he doesn't want people to know.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So basically, the WEF has recruited, and when I say people, I mean like tens of thousands to go on social media and fight against regular people who are just wanting to have some free speech. So freedom of speech is the true enemy.
Yeah, of course, freedom of speech is the true enemy of any despot, is any dictator, of any tin pot regime. Of course it is, because if you if you're allowed to speak freely, then you might disagree. And we can't be having the disagreement. You must eat the bugs. You must own nothing, and you will be happy.
So speaking about disagreements, our friend Putin shot back at the UK government, who said that it was morally repugnant for Putin to attend the G20, and he said back, well, after you guys have been involved in illegal wars in Somalia, Iraq, Yemen. In fact, he named quite a few. He said, "I think it's I think you can go and pot kettle black."
Well, I think the same can be said for most Western nations, right?
Yes, of course it can. Of course it can.
Yeah, and once again, I feel like we have to preface this with, we don't support Putin, just the same as we don't. Putin! Just the same as we don't support Zelensky, we don't support any of them. The only people that we care about are the everyman, the people like us who are getting caught up in the middle of it.
I mean, I would go as far as to say I don't support any government. I think all government is inherently flawed and to a degree evil.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as a benevolent government.
No, there isn't.
There isn't. And I mean, the idea of benevolent dictator perhaps is a good one.
As a concept is a great idea, but finding one would be tricky, would it not? All hail Ben, our benevolent dictator.
Oh, I'd be great. I'd just be like,
your first move.
Freedom.
Oh, controversial.
Oh,
a lot of people wouldn't like that.
My first move would be to undo so many of the tyrannical laws that exist. Just basic things here in the UK, like Section 127 of the Communications Act, which says if you are grossly offensive online, you're a criminal. Fuck off. Fuck off. Right? People can offend one another. And you know what? If you're offended, I'd say, as your benevolent dictator, if you find yourself offended by the words of another, sticks and stones will break my bones.
Yeah, go and give your head a wobble, as they say.
So don't listen to them. Walk away. It's as simple as that.
Yep. If you don't like it, move on.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So, Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, do you remember watching that? No?
Yeah, I watched the original and the Sarah Michelle Gellar version.
So, the original pilot with, what's her name?
I forget her name.
Oh, God, I've forgotten her name as well.
I have seen it.
But yeah, Xander has been hospitalised.
Are you pressing the button again?
You know what it is!
There we go.
So there you go. And he's a relatively young man. I think he's only like 51 or something.
Yeah, relatively young. Let me guess. I have not seen this story, but some kind of unexplained collapse or heart condition or...
Yeah, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yep. And are doctors baffled?
Doctors are baffled. Doctors are always baffled.
Yeah, Kirsty Swanson or Christy Swanson.
It seems to me that how did doctors get through medical school? Because they always seem to be baffled once they're out.
Well, exactly. They seem to be baffled a lot. Lately, anyway.
If you were in Russia, I'd take you to a Stars and get you a coffee.
I think this is one of the best bits of trolling I've ever seen.
It's even the same logo and everything.
I know. It is one of the best bits of trolling I've seen in such a long time. Right? You've got to hand it to them. I'm sorry, but credit where credit's due. Starbucks does not want to be part of Russia. Well, I tell you now, we take all the shops, we keep all the coffee making equipment, and we sell them stars.
Putin!
It is one of the best bits of trolling I have seen in such a long time.
That's classic. Absolutely.
Now, if they actually do turn all the McDonald's into something called McRuskies, I would die. McRuskies. That would be it. I would die. But this is, I've seen the pictures. I've seen people going and getting their stars. It's just glorious.
That is. You remember the mosque in Newport that was set on fire, and it was reported throughout the mainstream media as a hate crime because somebody set a mosque on
Did
fire.
they set their own mosque on fire?
Oh yeah, it's even better on how they set their own mosque on fire.
Go on.
Because one of them was a junkie and was cooking heroin in the mosque.
Oh God.
You just can't make this shit up. Can you?
Then they're just like, you know, praise Allah. Let's tell them it was a hate crime.
Yeah. A bad boy did it and ran away.
You know, there's actually a website, and I think, don't quote me on this, but it could be like fakehatecrime.com or something like that documents the fake hate crimes. So they're reported as hate crimes, and then they turn out to usually be self-inflicted. Right?
Oh, yeah, most of them are.
And this just happens over and over and over again. It's just ridiculous.
Actually got through the list quite well. We've only got 2 or 3 items left.
Oh, fantastic! We're gonna. It looks like we're gonna hit the hour, and then we're gonna jump onto the after party. And you know what? I've quite enjoyed this tonight so far.
Yeah, so far. It's so.
I like that so far. What's he got coming up?
Apparently, the BCG may protect against the coof.
My scarf and my BCG jab is somewhere under there.
So I never had the BCG jab because I always tested the one where you'd never got the vax because
so you had the Heath test and then it said you didn't need it.
Yeah. Well, again, a kind of sensible approach, wasn't it? You know,
the Heath test was, I agree, a sensible approach. It basically injected.
And it basically told you if you had already had antibodies to TB.
Yeah, it was. Sore says I had the BCG but didn't get the large scar on the arm. I got the scar and it's still raised, still bloody raised. Even I got tattooed over it though, so you can't really see it, but you can feel it. I had it in school.
I've got a smallpox scar.
Oh yeah.
But I can't find it.
So you are as protected against the monkey pooks as you're going to be.
Yeah. I'm even more protected because I don't do people up the dungy.
Well, this is. I was going to say. Remember, John, what you always say: don't knock it until you've tried it. But
yeah, but I haven't tried it. But and I'm not knocking it because I haven't tried it. It's not. It's probably not to my taste.
No, I mean it's not to my taste either. But for all I know, it may be a wholly enjoyable experience. But it's for others to experience. Absolutely, indeed.
It really cuts down my chances of catching the old monkeypox.
Cuts down my chances too. And do you know what, John? I'll drink my orange juice. It's not Coca-Cola to that.
I'll drink to that too.
Cheers.
Drink my Highland Springs sparkling water, not sponsored.
By the way, Shalini and Vaughan and Spencer, I did crack and tell him that I had some Coke at the air show.
He can't keep these kind of secrets.
I felt bad, so I just told him.
Do you know who Marin Sana is?
No.
Marin Sana is the PM of Finland.
Okay.
And she's quite attractive. She's about 30-something.
Yeah.
She's one of these new world leader types. And apparently she was filmed in some kind of raucous party setting.
I saw this.
Yeah. So she's been quite contrite. Well, or has she really? Because she's basically said she hasn't done anything wrong. But they were kind of hammering what looked like a white powder. So, and she's the chat room's right. She is a better dancer than Boris.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, and a damn sight more attractive than Boris and his pig-like wife.
Do you know what? When I was in the prison cell, I was not only playing wheelchair Mario Kart, I was also wheelchair dancing, right?
Yeah.
And I think my wheelchair dancing was a better dancer than Boris.
Yeah, well, I think it probably was.
Yeah.
So, actually, that's us at the end with one item left.
Okay, so let's try and drag this one item out and stretch it to an hour.
Well, I tell you what, I'll go back and I'll run the other two things by that I dropped off. So,
Okay.
Philadelphia, right, is making masks mandatory for children in the new school year. So they will have to wear masks in classroom settings for the entire year. Why?
So, to the residents and parents of Philadelphia, a message endorsed by both members of Chasing Dissent. Take your kids and fuck off to another state.
Yep. New York is not allowing unvaxxed kids to play sports. Now, given the whole thing that's going on right now, you would think it would be the other way round.
Well,
but that's pretty sad, isn't it?
I can't say what I want to say because of
No,
the
you
platforms
can't.
that we are sitting on, but I shall just say this. I think the decisions made are wholly wrong.
Yeah, and of course these states are major democratic states.
Of course they are. I mean, when people call them the Democrats, I'm starting to wonder if there's actually some merit in that.
Well, I think it's such a change from what it used to be.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you go back, you go back to the Vietnam War and things like that. The Democrats were always the party of peace.
Go back a bit further than that, and they had the KKK.
Well, they did start the KKK,
Yeah.
and that's a fact.
Yeah.
You can't get around that one. But to be fair, though, it is literally just the other side of the same horse.
Mm.
You know, both of them are as bad as each other.
I think I know. So, Dark Spy Spencer, it was his wedding anniversary on Saturday. He spent most of it with us.
Cool.
But he said he went to a cracking Chinese restaurant near the pier, and I think I know exactly which one he's talking about, and it is cracking. So,
Well, that's good.
But I want to say from us to you, my friend, I hope you had a wonderful anniversary. I hope dear Lady Spy had a wonderful anniversary dinner with you, and we wish you here's to the next 20 years, my friend. So, congratulations.
Congratulations. And that leads us nicely on to China.
China.
Shanghai.
China.
And Shanghai. Which is it's started testing its fishermen. And they have to be tested every hour while at sea.
Every hour.
Every hour while at sea and on their return to the port. Okay? It's worse. It gets worse.
Is it the anal swab, John?
No, it's not the anal swab. They're testing the fish as well. Have you seen the video? There's a guy in the fish market holding the fish, which was actually still alive, and they're swabbing around its mouth. It's fucking mental.
Did you just see me bashing my sunburnt head on the wall? That's where I am, John.
The Chinese have completely lost the plot. It's a classic.
We test fish! We test fish! We like to eat fish, but we test fish!
Why test the fish? I mean, hold on. Let me get this right. Fish live in the water, and they extract oxygen from the water using gills. A respiratory virus, which is.
I'm gonna have to hold on. I'm gonna have to stop you there, John, because there's too much science going on for the censors right now.
Shut up already. It's science.
No, fish don't have lungs.
I'm gonna have to move you on because if you start talking factual reality, we might get penalised.
No, yes. You may be wondering who I am tonight.
You are Yang Wing Yi.
Yes.
Hold on, I'll put it up for everybody to see. Yang Wing Yi.
I've done that in honour of Tony Fauci. So I was indicted.
So are you telling me? Hold on. Are you telling me that once again we've got two names that are relevant to each other without saying anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
We do this a lot. Anyway, Yang Wing, what were you indicted for?
I was charged and indicted with a count of visa fraud, making false statements, and acting as an agent of foreign government and conspiracy. I was arrested at Boston International Airport.
You were, and I know what you were arrested with as well.
After leaving Harvard University.
You naughty boy.
Heading to Wuhan in China.
And what did you have on your person, Yang Wing?
Well, I actually didn't have it. My colleague...
Oh yeah, your colleague. What did they have?
Zhao Songzhang.
Yep.
He had...
What did he have on him, John?
He had stolen biological material from the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston that he was going to use to do his own research on cancer once he got back to Wuhan.
Absolute fucking coincidence, John.
It's even better. I am a lieutenant in the People's Liberation Army.
You are.
And a member of the CCP.
You are.
On my J1 visa application, I put down I was a student.
I put down student. They won't know.
And failed to disclose my previous and current military status.
John.
Ben.
You just can't make this shit up.
No, you can't. You can't make this shit up. You can't make and of course they were arrested in the company of Dr. Charles Lieber, chair of the Department of Chemistry and Chemical Biology at Harvard University.
Yes. So I used an app tonight, John. It was called Too Good to Go.
Okay.
Right? And I got myself, this is good, I know we've moved on, right? And I got myself a nice slab of turkey, some roast potatoes, some mashed potatoes, gravy from my local Toby Carvery, which I picked up in a nice heated container at 9:15 this evening. I had it for dinner, yeah? Mm-hmm. I paid £3.29 for that.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's all right.
My local harvester are doing it daily where I could get half a rotisserie chicken and a bunch off the salad bar for £3.
Cool.
And you know what? As someone who doesn't have a lot of money right now and also doesn't have a lot of time, so I'm not really able to cook much, this is perfect. You know, I can just about afford it, quite frankly, at the moment. And it's fresh meals cooked for me. And so if anybody's watching this that is struggling like we are, then it's called Too Good to Go, and it covers loads of local restaurants, shops and cafes around you, and basically anything that they can't sell, they just whack out really cheap, and you can get a nice hot meal.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just thought I'd give a little bit of good advice at the end of tonight's show, John, just to
thank you for that, Ben. I'm going to have a look at that.
To help with the cost of living crisis. And to be honest with you, food was hot. Food was nice. It was good. Yeah, it was good. So if anybody...
It would just get flung out anyway, wouldn't it?
Well, exactly. It's just going to be flung out anyway. And for the paltry cost of £3, and I know some people can't afford £3 at the moment. I just about can at the end of the day. But all of our money's going on bloody bills and energy at the moment. Yeah. But if... You know, for the cost of £3, I had a large, filling, hot meal cooked for me from my local Toby Carvery, and it was good. And Spencer says that's been better advice than anything that's come from any politician in the last 3 years. Well done. And it's just something to help out. So I'm probably going to do the same tomorrow and get myself half a roast chicken.
Cool.
Seems like a good. Not tomorrow, because our wonderful Spencer is taking us out taking me out. For
he takes you out. He takes you out for feed.
He does. He's taking me out for my fortnightly actual carvery, which I'm actually quite looking forward to.
He sends me nothing but good wishes.
He bought me lunch on Saturday as well, so thank you for that.
Okay, right.
Right, so if you do want to help us anyway, if you want to help us out and help support the channel and help support our growth, then please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. And perks are included, but the main one is, of course, the after party. And John, tell them what the after party is.
The after party is where you get to meet us face to face. We send you a link to this show, which is no longer being broadcast, and we have a jolly good chat and get up to hijinks.
And so you come into the show essentially, but we don't put it out, so you can say what you want, do what you want, fuck about, who cares? And that happens every Wednesday and Sunday immediately after the show. I know tonight is Monday, but it's because we were going to do this show last night at midnight, but then we got to midnight and we were both like, nah, fuck that. And so we moved it to tonight. Anyhow, with that, John, whilst I queue up the outro.
Yes, with that, I'd like to thank everyone, one and all, for attending this episode 114 of Chasing Dissent Live. From us, it's good night.
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everybody.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience to talk. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Mwah! Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system. You forgot Uranus. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.